Hello everyone and welcome to the Sports Report. I'm Athletic Director Doug Stotler. Today we're going to be talking over many things of soccer, including the regular season, postseason, district play, and hopefully a national tournament. Our guest for the Soccer Sports Report is head coach Ricardo Garza. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Doug.
And it's been a really warm season. Here we are in October and we've still got 80-degree weather, Coach, and I know at one point you were really concerned about how the heat was going to affect your guys, and I'm sure you said to them, look, it'll cool off, but it really hasn't.
Nope.
And fortunately, your team has really gotten hot, too, at the right time of the year. There was a point, though, in your early season schedule where you made a trip to Texas and had two really tough games against ranked opponents, came home and played some really tough teams as well, and didn't have some luck. But I'm wondering, Coach, how you felt about that. Was that a period in your schedule that made your team better?
Yeah, as I was saying last time I came on your show, going into those games, whether we won or whether we lost, it was going to help us in October. And September was a rough month, but throwing the guys into the best competition in the country early without your sophomores experiencing that the year prior, that's what you were going to get. In October, it's paid off. We're undefeated in October, so we're exactly where we want to be right now.
And recaps some of those teams and who they were at that time.
We played Tyler, who was the defending national champions, San Jacinto, who was at nationals, Illinois Central was at nationals, and we played Iowa Central, who was also at nationals. We also played Lincoln College, who was ranked high, I think the top 12. We had them on the schedule. So in September, they played 5 or 6 ranked teams and really have experience right now, which is helping us.
And even though those were losses, these were still very competitive games for us. It wasn't like we got blown out, but simply the matter of the ball didn't bounce our way, so to speak.
Extremely. Even when we played Tyler, I think we're the only team that scored multiple goals on Tyler this whole year. They haven't given up multiple goals. We scored 2 on them. In the first half, it was back and forth. It was 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. And the second half, we shut them out. If we can, and we were defending against them because we had some injuries and fitness was an issue. And for us to shut out the best team in the country shows us that when we need it, which we haven't used yet, when we need to just defend and hold a lead, if we can do it against the best team in the country, we're sitting really nice right now.
Well, you've already mentioned that you've won the last 5 regular season games all in a row. And again, it indicates that your team is really playing its best. What changed? You said there were some guys playing a little bit better earlier before the show, but what's changed since those early losses compared to the last 5 regular season wins?
Well, I think maturity. I think most programs you have to go 2 years until you peak, until you get really mature and you're a veteran player. But because of our strength of our schedule, we didn't have to wait to the postseason to get experience. We got it right out of the gate. And our players mentally knew what it was like to lose games, knew what it was like to stay in games and have them just torn away from you at the last minute, and also how to put away some ranked teams. So everything that you try to learn in the postseason, they learned early. And now the last piece was our forwards scoring. And early in the season, they weren't scoring. A lot of goals were coming from set pieces or from the midfield. And now in October, we have 2 forwards that combined for like 21 goals or something like that. And we have outscored everyone 21-4, I believe, in the last 7 games. So that's now come on, and the defense has always been there, the midfield, but now the forwards are taking pressure off, as well as our goalkeeper, John Schnurbush. Early, going against the best teams in the country, he's kind of picked up some things. He has 4 shutouts in the last 6-7 games.
And let's kind of move into some of those players. You mentioned a few. You mentioned John and a few other guys, but who have those consistent goal scorers been in the last several games?
Well, Ricardo Valzian has scored every game in the last 6 or 7 games. He scored 9 out of his 13 goals, so he's on a streak. Alex Haverstick has scored 4 of his 7 goals coming in the last 5 or 6 games. Kyle Otek has 4 goals, 3 of them coming in the last 3 or 4 games. Corey Barrett, who was supposed to come in and score some goals, is producing goals. He's getting some assists in some vital games for us. Lessie, the most unselfish player I think we have on the team, we're playing and goes down. He can easily score, and postseason in his mind and the rest of the team, it's the easiest goal is going to win the game, and he plays the ball across, and we're scoring. So we didn't have that in the beginning of the year. The boys' mentality right now is really good, and now all the players are just stepping up, and the beautiful part is the freshmen are stepping up.
Is it more of a team effort, or do you have that one star in Valsian, or is it just a lot of different guys chipping in?
Yeah, right now it's a lot of different guys, because when a team high presses us, we put a lot on our back line, and they have to do their thing. When a team is kind of more laid back, allowing us to keep possession, we require our forwards to go ahead and take care of business. So I think it's a group effort. The difference is we have one or two guys who individually can go get it done, which takes pressure off the rest of the boys. And then all the thing that happened there is the boys switch their gears and they just kind of coast the rest of the game and make sure that we have the win.
Talk a little bit about Schnurbush and his importance to your team and goal. You know, as I watch your team play, he's constantly communicating, and obviously that's a very important factor for a goalkeeper to have, but what does he bring to the table?
Well, when I was recruiting him last year, he had a presence on his team. Everything in the air was his, every free kick. Teams didn't want to have to get into the 18, and he was just a force to be reckoned with. Early here in August and September, he didn't look like that same guy because it was in a whole new realm. You know, the competition level was extremely high, never experienced it. Mm-hmm. And all I kept doing is telling him, this is going to help you, you're stronger, every game is making you better.
Right.
And I need you to really pick up and learn from your mistakes. And he had plenty of mistakes, which obviously made him a better player than he is today. You know, so October, he's, like you say, he's communicating, he keeps his head in the game. He knows where our guys are supposed to be on our corner kicks on the opposite side of the field. He just communicates it well. And you have to have a vocal leader. Your team has to have confidence in your goalkeeper. And right now, there's not a player on the team that doesn't expect John to go in and get another shutout.
Coach, it was very interesting at the end of the season. We finished regular season with a 5-0 win over St. Louis Community College at Florissant Valley. 2 days later, you turn around and play the quarterfinal game of the region tournament, and lo and behold, it's Flo Valley again. What was the difference in those two games? That had to be a unique circumstance for you.
It's kind of one of those scary circumstances because you play a team and you beat them 5-0, and they know that they're beatable. They know that if Jefferson scores 1, they're going to score 2, they're going to score 3. So you don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs. Are they going to just pack it in and make it,
right,
or are they going to come at you and it's unpredictable? And we didn't train on the field the next day. It was more of a mental day. We were in the pool. We talked for about 15 minutes after pool training and just had them prepared for the postseason. Letting them know that, look, you know, yesterday was a great game. You won 5-0, but there were still mistakes. You gave up free kicks that were meaningless. You gave up corner kicks that were meaningless. And any team, no matter what you do, that one ball could slip in. Your goalkeeper could slide over, and you can't lose focus. And the next game, for us to go in and right away consistently win again for 4-0, I was proud of them. We limited our corner kick opportunities for the other team. We limited our free kicks. And the whole theme of the season has been peak in October, believe in October. Everything you've done in August and September will help us in October. And I think now the boys get it. And that's why we're undefeated. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And the expectations has now jumped at a higher level. We don't want to just get to nationals. We want to win it.
So does that mean the team really still has a little bit of room to go? They are truly going to peak in these next 2 games. I've been so impressed with their production in these last 5, but is there still a little bit more room for improvement?
There's always room for improvement. As long as we can get better every game and everyone else stays the same, that's how you get the elite status. And,
right.
And we could have just rolled over and just don't train that hard, keep everyone healthy, and then just kind of try to battle stuff out. But we don't want to do that. We have a higher purpose. We've already been to the regional tournament. We've always won the regional tournament. We've never lost it. We go to the districts. We know what that's like, and that's where we expect to be. So the boys know, you know, today they're off to get ready because they know mentally and physically tomorrow at practice I'm going to be working them hard. And Wednesday's going to be working them hard. Thursday's more of a mental focus day, but the next 48 hours, I know it. They'll come out hard. They'll be asking probably for 2 days, coming in the office, what can I do better? What did I do wrong in that game? Because they know what the big show is to get to the district final.
Right.
You get into nationals, and so many doors open for you, and the feeling of success just being there is undescribable. Winning it there's nothing like it in the world, but I want them to experience the tournament. And right now we're moving players, we're doing things to help them mentally and physically prepare for that.
Your next game is the semifinals of the Region 16 tournament, and that'll be on Friday, October 29th at 11 o'clock. And that game is against a region opponent, Blue River, that unfortunately we lost to 0-2. Mm-hmm. What's going to need to change to make this game end up in our favor?
Well, I think the team that we were in September is completely different than October. Mm-hmm. In September, we had so much confidence on holding possession. We knew we were going to get opportunities to score. The difference was we would get in the score when we wouldn't score, and it kept other teams in. And we kind of let up them opportunities to counterattack us in September. And we fixed that mid-September. We lost to them. We started fixing our defense. We lost the very next game, and we've been undefeated ever since. So they were the catalyst to get these players angry and remotivated to finish the season.
I like that.
So they're the fuel that we're going to, put them to fire on Friday.
Right. Coach, I'm going to be optimistic that we're going to come out ahead against Blue River, but then you look at the Region 16 championship game, which will be on Sunday, the 31st at 1 p.m., and that game is going to have Crowder and St. Charles at 2 o'clock on Friday. If you could pick one of those two teams, which would you pick, or do you really care who you play in the championship game?
Well, normally I would say I wouldn't care, but St. Charles, Coach Tom Kearns, I'm friends with him. I just got him a coaching job to coach alongside me, and I'd hate to beat him in the regional final and then have to go coach with him the rest of the year. So, I'd rather beat up on Crowder because it's our time, it's our destiny to win the region tournament, and whoever's our opponent is going to lose. Just going off of what my players are doing right now. Something really is going to have to go wrong. My players are really going to have to make some mistakes, and I just don't see it. In September, it would be a completely different story, but right now, they have made me have more confidence in what they can do, and that is a special time. The last time we felt like that, we won the national championship. And I don't know we can win the national championship the way we did in 2006, but I know we can give some teams a run for their money if we can get to the tournament.
Well, they've certainly been fun to watch in these last 5 home games and have proven that they're ready to go in postseason. Part of what makes me curious about how this season ended up is the fact that the format of the tournament was a little bit different in 2010. Previously, there were 9 teams, and that was due to Merrimack being in the region at that point. This year, there were 8. Has the fact that Merrimack's not been in the tournament been a factor to our success?
No, I don't think so, because the last year when we played Merrimack, we had beaten them 7-0, and I think the year prior, it was, we pretty much were starting to gain the dominance. We had already been the dominant force in the region, but I think we were kind of starting to fade away into the sunset a little bit, and I think this year if they would have had a program, they would have had a tough time against Forest Park and St. Charles. I think those two teams have really stepped up in our region. When Merrimack has now gone down, those two have really stepped up, and I think they're doing a good job. I think Merrimack would just be, I couldn't even tell you where Merrimack would be ranked right now, seated. I think they would just be any other team, any other opponent.
What do you think the factor is? The players that Merrimack were recruiting now are available to those other teams?
A little bit. I mean, St. Charles didn't really get too many. I don't think they had any players come out of South City, and that's mainly where Merrimack was getting players, was from the South City area, maybe like from CBC here. They had a lot of players that would just go away to school and come back and transfer in. They really didn't recruit big time from the area. They had all leftover kids come home.
Sure.
Forest Park, I think it probably picked up a couple, and I think now kids just are trying to do what they do and go away. And if they come back, they're probably going to call Forest Park. They probably are going to call St. Charles, or, we'll probably get a few phone calls, I'm sure, too.
And Coach, I'm going to continue to remain optimistic and hope that we get to the district game, which is, again, this year something new against Region 24, which will be the Illinois schools, and I believe that's about November 10th, November 11th, somewhere in there. Who are the opponents there that you think might come out on top in Region 24?
Well, Lincoln Land has to play ICC. We've beaten Lincoln Land. We should have beaten ICC. We lost to them. One of them are going to be eliminated. They're both strong teams in the postseason. Doesn't matter if we were to play either one of those two. I'm confident in those. Lincoln College is probably going to at least get into the semifinal, probably going to get into the final. And we had already played them earlier this year, and we had beaten them 4-2, and it really could have been 6 or 7-2. As long as the boys just continue what they're doing, I think anyone in that district's beatable. We are 4-1-1, I believe, against that district. We've beaten Heartland,
Wow.
or we tied Heartland. We've beaten Lincoln. We've beaten Parkland. We've beaten Lincoln Land, and we've lost to ICC. And probably leaving somebody out, Lewis and Clark. We beat Lewis and Clark, so we've already dominated in that district.
Great.
They are probably looking at us as we got to get through Jefferson, and that's the presence that the team has created, and we're happy for that.
Well, it certainly looks like to me that you're the team to beat coming into this thing, despite even being the number 2 seed. But yeah, I'm even going to be more optimistic and look forward to this national tournament. And I believe we've got that date starting November 18th in Tyler, Texas. What can your players expect at the national tournament?
National tournament, once you get in there, it's almost like a new season. It's like a brand new season. It's completely different. Your mentality going into the national tournament is, we got to get there. That's where we want to be. You don't talk about when the regional semifinals, I want to get into the national final. You talk about, I want to go to nationals.
Right.
And once you get there, then the player's like, okay, now what? We're here. Now what do we do? Who are we playing? What's this going to be like? And it's just a lot of emotion. And the thing that you got to do as a coach is channel the emotion to positive gameplay where they're not nervous, because a lot of the emotion could go into nervousness, and players that normally make those shots or normally beat the player one-on-one might be so worried about not doing it that you have a bad turnout. And so it becomes a lot of mental focus in the national tournament. If your players are focused for 90 minutes, you have a chance to get into the final.
Coach, we're just about out of time, but if you would recap what the rest of our region tournament looks like into the district and then into the nationals.
Well, we will be playing against
Blue River?
Blue River, yeah. We're playing against Blue River on Friday. When we could potentially play anyone between Lincoln College, ICC, or Lincoln Land. I think those are the 3 teams that are going to come out of that district region into the district final. No matter who we play in the district, my boys are going to play tough. They're going to play hard, and I think the odds are in our favor to get into the national tournament. And when we get to the nationals, we've already played the best teams in the country. We've played San Jacinto, we played Tyler, and had we scored on our opportunities against both of those teams, we would have came home with 2 wins in Texas. What we were lacking in Texas, we have here right now in Missouri. So we're ready to bring it to them.
Coach, best of luck. Again, we've got the region tournament coming up on Friday, October 29th at 11 a.m. That game will be played at St. Louis Community College at Florissant Valley. The winner will then play on Sunday at 1 p.m. against the number 1 seed Crowder and number 3 seed St. Charles. I've been here with head coach Ricardo Garza on the Sports Report. I'm athletic director Doug Stotler. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.